Right.
Did you see the one of like this is just kids learning the alphabet?
A-E-I-O-U.
And then someone's like, what about sometimes why?
Yeah. Sometimes why?
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Funny Business Podcast. Matt and I are blacking out today. We're wearing both black sweatshirts and a t-shirt for those who aren't seeing the YouTube video. But
That's
however,
not false. My t-shirt's yellow.
how is that? Okay, t-shirt, sweat. I said sweatshirt. That's fine.
You said t-shirt and
I
you're wearing a
corrected
t-shirt.
myself.
Okay. Hey, easy.
Matt, you did schedule for a hair appointment just before we started recording. You might want to get your eyes checked.
I did. Listen, I'm having a rough day. It was leg day.
Oh, leg day.
Leg day killed me. The diet is tough. I had Brussels sprouts and rice for lunch.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had them left over last night.
Okay.
And I just finished the leftovers. It was good, but like I'm starting to get a little hangry because like when I diet, I don't go like super healthy on everything. I more so just like cut out my snacking because I could snack all day long, especially like the holiday season. I was eating chips and dip like crazy. So I usually just stop snacking and just eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. But the first couple days always suck.
I remember when we lived together, the massive amount of a snack cabinet that you had, dude.
Do you remember the giant bag of popcorn I used to get from Weiss? Oh my God. It was legit. Like it had to be, I don't know. How much popcorn do you think that was? It was at least 2.5 feet big.
It was half your size, I would have to guess.
Yeah.
Definitely half your size, and you ate it all. You sometimes shared, which was very nice of you, but you sometimes just went to ham on it. And like it obviously is not, you can't put that in a shelf. Like you have to have it out. I just remember, I think it was like 2 days later, I walk into our room and I'm like, Matt, where's the popcorn?
It was gone.
It's gone.
I think at one point someone dared me to eat the whole bag in a day, which I did not do because I didn't want to die. Yeah.
But also, Matt, too, we are now switching over to water. We're now sponsored by water with a podcast.
We are a pro water podcast.
Wink, wink. This is water.
Oh, I'm sure. Or vodka, as the young kids call it these days.
Would you imagine if I slurped vodka? That'd be weird.
Yeah, that'd be tough. I'd give you credit for it.
Don't even want to think about that. Well, everyone, welcome to yet another episode. Lots of dieting going on. We got lots of weird stories to talk to you about today. I had to put in little parentheses when we were going over the show notes that I may need to check into a mental hospital after these topics that we talk about. These are weird. So really in simplistic terms, we're going to be talking about the birds and the bees today.
If you have kids listening, not saying don't listen.
Don't listen.
But maybe give them a talk before they listen to this episode.
And once we go over the topics, they'll be like, really? We gave them the talk? Well, that's the point. That we broke the ice for you all. It's
gotta happen at some point.
It's gotta happen. Matt, when did you get the talk?
The next question. Let's just skip that and dive right into the first story.
Yes, the first story that we got today is people have been a little upset down in Brazil. What happened was there was a artist by the name of Juliana Notari decided to install a 33-meter long handmade vulva in the side of the mountain.
It's like too detailed.
Very detailed.
Little too detailed.
Not to get any innuendos here, but it took about 20 men to work on it. It measures about, like I said, it's a 33-meter long, but for American context, because we're dumb in the measurement system, it measures about 52 feet wide, and it's 20 feet deep.
So that was my question. Was this just like, how did they get it deep? Like, did they have to dig into the ground?
They did.
What kind of, so was this like Did someone pay him to do this?
So first of all, it's a girl, Juliana.
Okay, pay her to do this. My
yeah,
bad.
so it is a concrete structure.
Okay.
So I did a lot with concrete. It really, her point, this was reported by CNN. The work was intended to, quote, question the relationship between nature and culture in a phallocentric and anthropocentric Western society and make people question the, quote, problematization of gender. So probably what happened was she wanted to do this piece of art and had to purchase a set of land in order to start excavating and creating.
I'm not like judging because like the all body parts should be appreciated in a certain way. I just don't know if the placement of it might not be great here.
Yeah, it's for those. I mean, if you haven't Googled already, first of all, don't. It's going to be weird when you type in vulva in the side of a mountain in Brazil. I'm pretty sure those will come up as very weird Google searches for you.
Your FBI agent's going to tune in and look, what the heck's this guy looking into today?
But, Notari, I'm going to call it Juliana. Juliana was very surprised by the response. I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way. You and I are already discussing about it in context, but here's the thing, and here's a reason why these two topics, and I'll open it up already to the discussion. I think we need to be more comfortable in sexuality, whether that's not homophobic, like homosexual, heterosexual, any type of sexuality that you believe in. I feel like we need to start being comfortable in it. And if you can't get comfortable with a body part, a thing, an anatomical thing, then you have a problem. You're not mature enough. And yes, we do like to crack jokes. Every time we see the words, the number 69, we're always like, haha. But at the same time, see what I mean? But again, we're not sitting there and being like, that is a disgrace. Why is that in the side of a mountain? Like, I think it's quite artistic. I think it's something that's completely different amongst actually just drawing something on a piece of paper. I don't know your thoughts about it.
Listen, I can't draw a straight line, so kudos to her for making that. I agree. Like, I'm not making fun of it. Like, it's just the timing is weird. But we also do have to consider this is in Brazil, right?
This is in Brazil.
Okay, their culture is very different than us in the United States, and they seem more open with sexuality than we are here in America. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just the vibe I get. So you're right. I do think people do need to kind of like grow up in a sense and just kind of accept that, maybe that's what she likes to make art in. Like, we can't blame her for that. If she's passionate about it, she should be able to make it.
Yeah, I think one of the examples that we can bring back to the homeland is Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, or even that. Like, that's a full-on magazine, a popular magazine, mind you, that is focusing on the beauty of the body. And Matt, I've never purchased a Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition before, but I feel like I always poke fun of you because you always have a cover in your room.
Yes. As a teenager, I had it.
I mean, it's still cool. Did you bring it to you in your dorm?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
No. Just no. That would have been a bad decision. But I think people sometimes have a double standard for this stuff. They only like the stuff that they like, and if it's something they don't like, then that's wrong. When in reality, like, people should be able to express themselves how they want to express themselves. It is a little too detailed for my liking, but again, kudos to her because I couldn't do anything like that.
I think one of the things, and I hate to open it up to a full-on conversation because I definitely have two more topics I'd like to cover, is just the fact that, like, a lot of mistakes, I'm just going to say it out loud, like, Catholic schools don't talk about anything that is, quote, health or sexual education. And in most cases, if you are not educated on anything, whether that's, why is this happening to your body or why you should be doing this when you're interacting with somebody that you're interested in, like, that's what happens when mistakes happen. And then that's when you're in the hole because you're not educated. And I feel like everyone is so lost in the education that they are not actually just admitting that, okay, let's actually talk about this.
I think that's fair. Maybe, her paintings and her art will, educate people on things they didn't know about. So that's a good point. And I would just want to say, like, I'm like, when I say it's too detailed, I think it just like shocked me at first, because when the picture it's eye opening. But you know, again, kudos for her. She's doing what she loves, and hopefully she'll bring attention to stuff like this in the future that will make other people be able to express themselves how they want to express themselves.
Yeah, man, I don't think I took anything out of context of you saying it was very descriptive, because it is very detailed.
The first time I saw it, I was like, whoa. But now that we've gone through the article, it makes a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. So listen, Juliana, you do you, girl. You keep what's you and artistically you as much as possible, because we appreciate it. Absolutely. Even though it was a big surprise coming out of a mountain.
Yes.
Which is the point. Moving on, we're going to jump over to Denmark, Matt. This one is, again, we're moving. I think we talked about the bees. Now we're moving on to the birds now. So, Matt, you've watched a lot of, right? Is that really the concept, birds or bees?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're moving on to the bees, not the birds.
The bees, not the birds.
I don't know.
I got a different talk.
Okay.
However, we're going to jump over to Denmark. Matt, we watched a lot of TV shows when we were kids. We still do today, whether that's on a streaming platform or when we tune into the television. However, Denmark has decided to launch a children's TV show that's very much so a unique one. This is coming from The Guardian. A Danish equivalent of the BBC, also is DR, has a new animated series aimed at 4 to 8-year-olds.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if you got that context, but it's about John Dillermand, the man with the world's largest penis, who overcomes hardships and challenges with his record-breaking genitals.
Where do you want to start with this?
Well, I saw pictures.
I unfortunately did too.
The worst part about this, so I guess this is more relatable because we're obviously two guys. There was a picture of him outside grilling, and his genitalia is using not a bucket, a
spatula,
jug of kerosene. In that, so it's kind of crazy with that, as far as with the situation that's unfolding with the person. But Matt, I want to hear your thoughts.
This is I'm confused by this. Like, what is the purpose of him using his giant penis to do things supposed to teach the kids?
Well, Matt, luckily enough, they brought in some professors to talk about this situation.
Okay.
We have Christian Groves, who is an associate professor and gender researcher at Roskilde University. I apologize.
Sounds good to me.
Said he believed in the program's celebration of the power of male genitalia could only set equality back. It's perpetrating the standard idea of a patriarchal society and normalizing, quote, locker room culture that's been used to excuse a lot of bad behavior from men. It's meant to be funny, so it seems to be harmless, but it's not, and we're teaching this to our kids.
Wait, so he's trying to express locker room culture? Because I don't think that's very good.
Matt, I think the context being that in most cases, there's a lot of talk, locker room talk, about who's got the biggest cojones in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they over-exasperate the idea of actually a person with a problem of having the largest cojones, which actually causes a problem with his own day-to-day life. But I think for 4 to 8-year-olds, that's a quick conversation to have about that.
I think it's quick conversation for like 12-year-olds, if we're being completely honest. Yeah, the age demographic is very, it's too young for me. I don't even know if it's appropriate for me. Like, I'm very immature. Like, I don't know if I could handle watching a show like that. Some other thoughts that I had, it said that some of the things he uses his penis for, rescue operations, to etch murals, hoist a flag, and steal ice cream from children. That one really struck me. So we're teaching kids that they can steal ice cream with his penis.
And also,
Showing that again, like if you're trying to teach the kids that maybe it's not the best thing in the world, but yet he's stealing their ice cream, I'm not quite sure what message, how that portrays it.
yeah, well.
Also, it says they use the hoist a flag, so you can't make the joke. Is that a flag in your pants, or are you just happy to see me because it could be a flag?
Yeah, and certainly not half-mast.
No.
Mind you. Yeah, I think this is it's unique. Let's put it that way. You know, I like you said, Matt, there's a bunch of cultures across the universe and the Earth specifically, but I think Denmark is just trying a unique perspective instead of, you know, us in America talking about locker room talk and, you know, making it really immature for boys. Let the boys be boys, but really, let's educate the boys.
I like the idea of like trying to dismay locker room talk, because locker room talk is just bad. Like it can get ugly. Mm-hmm. However, I think the way they're doing this could be a little better. And also, just for all the parents out there that didn't want their kids to watch SpongeBob, I'm glad I watched SpongeBob as a kid.
Same. Matt and I wouldn't be best friends if it wasn't for that.
You never know.
I think SpongeBob does a lot of adult humor, but doesn't do it enough where you don't get to it until
like you can still tell it's a kid's show.
Right, you could still tell it's a kid's show, and now we're starting to realize that we're now becoming more like Squidward when it comes to our life.
Yeah, which is kind of depressing.
It is very depressing, but hey, yeah. Steven Hillenburg, God rest his soul, R.I.P. So, you know, I'm curious to see how this goes if they actually run a couple seasons. I'm sure they have to put out a pilot and then try to work it into the shows. I would be very surprised to see a second season, but depending on how well the response is.
Yeah, it depends how it goes. I mean, they're getting a lot of backlash now, but maybe the episodes will prove it differently. Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of just like a wait and see period.
Yeah, no, definitely a wait and see period. Best of luck to the producers, because I'm sure they probably worked really hard on it.
Again, you know, if it works out for them, good. If it doesn't, you know, maybe try a different avenue to try to get that message across.
Yes. All right, Matt, now that we bleached our eyes and got everything out of the way, talk about immaturity as soon as we get done with it. Matt, talking about getting stuff out of the way, we're doing a bunch of segues here today. 2020 has come and gone, hopefully. Mm-hmm. We're still hanging it on a thread, just a tad. Hopefully it doesn't work out the way that it does. But, Matt, there's probably a lot of things we want to leave behind 2020.
I would say so. Yeah, quite a few.
Quite a few things. Did you ever think of words to leave behind in 2020?
I've never thought of words to leave behind in any year, to be honest.
So, at Lake Superior State University has been doing a, quote, a banished words list. This has been going on since 1977, when the original public relations director, W.T. Rabe, released the first banished words list. And it's been going on for ever since it's been going. So what the, I guess the public relations department does is they come up with a top 10 list of banished words. Oddly and not surprisingly enough, 7 of them are COVID related. So I'm excited to see what your reaction is to that.
Yeah, for everyone listening, I don't know what these words are.
Yeah, so I really specifically told Matt, don't look these up. I want your reaction on them, because there is a few that I think you'll be like, really?
Oh,
really? No. So
I'm
Matt,
ready.
Are you ready for number 10?
Bring it on.
Okay, so I had to think about this one a little bit.
Okay.
At number 10 of the banished words for 2021, and these are also phrases too. So they kind of bend the rules a little bit of banished words, but words are words. The number 10 is a phrase. It is, I know, right?
What?
So, I know, right? Is relatively new construction to convey empathy with those who have expressed agreement. But as one wordsmith put, if you know, why do you need to ask if it's correct or seek further approval?
But like you can use that in a way when like you're just having a conversation and they make a good point. You just say, "Yeah, I know, right? Like that's crazy." So I can't say that anymore.
I think they're trying to, because I do believe in
what
this.
What the hell am I supposed to say?
Right. That's what I've been saying.
Correct. That's another thing we wouldn't have if we didn't have a SpongeBob. That seems like too general of a thing to say. You can say that in so many scenarios.
Yes. Well, number 9, Matt, is very much so. I won't call it specific, but it's been specific. It's been specific this past year of 2020. It's something you and I have said a lot, which I was so surprised. Coming in at number 9 of a banished word for 2020 is sus.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm saying sus. You know what? That's sus that they said we can't say sus. That's very sus. No, I don't agree with that at all.
So they did talk about the popular game Among Us coming out, and that coined the phrase or word sus, being the imposter of the game itself. I was actually explaining to Jenna how Among Us works this past weekend, and telling how a lot of the times when I'm the imposter, I always like to either have you follow me and just voting, or like getting your words first, and you do the same thing to me exactly. So
I think the last 2 times we played, you just killed me first anyway. So, but no, I'm not banning the word sus. I'm not doing it.
Somebody said that if you say sus, how much effort does it take to say the entire word?
Well, okay, so there's 2 different contexts of sus though. There's Among Us sus, that's suspicious.
Okay,
and then some people, you act a little sus around the boys, act a little sus. So I can understand if they want to ban that part, but if they're talking about we can't say sus because we're too lazy, quote unquote lazy, to say suspicious, no, that's sus.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, Cardi B. What if Cardi B would have said that's sus?
That's sus.
Who knows? Maybe they want to be on the list.
Oh, man. All right, Matt. Moving on to number 8. It is a name, believe it or not, but it is a, quote, name calling that they want to leave in 2020. Coming in at number 8 is Karen.
That's a tough one. You know what? I think we can still say Karen if someone comes up with the male equivalent.
I think we've had that discussion.
We did, but
times.
But the internet cannot come to an agreement, which is just weird. Like Karen just like clicked like that. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But like we can't come up with a male equivalency.
Yeah, so I guess where they are talking about where it spun off was an anti-racist critique of a behavior of white women in response to the black and brown people have become misogynist umbrella term for critiquing the perceived over-emotional behavior of women. As one nominator said about reasons of its banishment, I would tell you why, but I'd sound like a Karen.
Spot the line. Spot the line. I don't know where it is. I will. Okay, I can say unless they come up with a male equivalency, so it's balanced. I don't know. Maybe we can't say Karen anymore.
I could agree to disagree with you on that. Like, I could understand that it can be banished, but also, yes, we better find that other equivalency of it.
Yeah.
Like, football has field hockey. Like,
yeah, exactly. You need a yin and a yang.
Yes. All right, Matt. These top 7 are COVID related. At number 7 is unprecedented.
What? Why would we get rid of the word unprecedented? What are we supposed to say when something else happens?
I'm reading the context. It's unheard of that a word would be repeated on the banished words list. Actually, it's not. In the early years, words wound up repeated, although we try to avoid repetition nowadays. Despite the fact that unprecedented was banished in 2002, given that it was nominated many times this year for misuse in describing events that do have precedent, inclusion again seems warranted.
See, I don't agree with that because I think there was a lot of things that happened in 2020 that were unprecedented. So, just because people used it a lot doesn't mean it's not unprecedented, because it is.
I think given what they said, like given something that has precedent, like let's say, for instance, I hate to say it relating to COVID, but let's say there was a huge gathering and 25 people got COVID. Well, that's kind of not unprecedented because the precedent was the fact that there was a huge gathering involved.
Right. In that scenario, it's correct. But there was a lot of shit happened in 2020, and a lot of it was crazy and never seen before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, Matt, this one I am 100% with, and I want to hear your thoughts. At number 6, pivot.
Pivot?
Yes.
How is that COVID related?
Because when people are talking about, oh, dude, I hate to say it, I hate the word pivot.
Why?
I've literally heard that word for all of 2020 when we started doing COVID along with work. It was always, okay, we got to do this, but if not, we have to pivot. I can only just imagine that. Is it Friends with the couch? Pivot.
Yeah, that's what my thing was. Like, I'm not giving that scene up. That's one of the best scenes of Friends.
But now it ruined it for me. It ruined that scene for me because we've said it so many times when it comes to, we have to go into virtual learning. We have to do contactless delivery. We have to do curbside pickup. We now got to do Zoom calls. Like, we got to pivot. How many times can you pivot before you actually pivot 360?
No, I'm with Pivot. I'm on Pivot's side on this.
Whatever.
But to be fair, I literally never heard one person say Pivot during COVID.
Wow.
Not one.
I stayed out of it.
Good for you.
Coming in at number 5, Matt, in these uncertain times.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Because, like, everyone just kind of ran its course. Like, in the beginning, like, middle of March, beginning of April, like, these are uncertain times. Then when it came to, like, May, June, July, they're not really that uncertain because we've been living in it for 3 months. And, it definitely was a little bit overused. I will agree with that one.
Mm-hmm. At number 4, an abundance of caution. Various phrasings.
I'm kind of indifferent on that one. Like, I guess you can say it in a different way.
I think they're looking at the vagueness of that phrase. So the phrasing about how it takes preventative steps is vague. Out of the abundance of caution, we're canceling the event. Okay, well, how are you, in the abundance of caution, how are you canceling the event?
I think that's fair. I don't see an issue with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, number 3. Here's another one. We're all in this together.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not giving that up. I'm not giving it up.
I will give it up.
What?
No, I was going to start singing Rick Astley, and I will give it up instead of Rick Astley's never going to give it up.
No, I'm not giving it up because I don't want the High School Musical song to get canceled.
I think every time somebody said it during a speech or during a video, all I could you might as well just throw the frickin' cheerleaders and the basketball team in the back in order for them to start the music. Like, in understanding when things became serious, that's all I could think about. And I'm like, well, this conversation's not serious anymore because now I'm thinking about High School Musical.
But how epic would it have been if, like, a politician would have broke out in, like, a High School Musical dance during one of his press conferences?
Okay, that would have made sense.
That would have been awesome.
But if someone is talking about, like, everybody staying safe, nobody getting COVID, we're all in this together. That's like not even, you cannot make me read those words because all I could think about is singing them.
I'm just picturing, like, Governor Cuomo of New York. Is like it seemed like everyone across the country were, like, loved his press conferences or, like, had something, like, a big deal with his press conferences.
Reminder,
because you just imagine he had
Saturday.
Like, the whole world watching. His press conferences are amazing. He's like, my personal feelings, COVID sucks. Okay, great. I think we all feel that way. But I'm not losing that song. So I will not stop saying that phrase.
Okay. Well, that's a little indifferent. But however, at number 2, Matt, social distancing.
So I understand why they want to get rid of it. However, if we stop saying it, people might stop social distancing, and that's not good right now.
So the reasoning behind that, this phrase is useful as wearing a mask and keeping your distance have a massive effect on preventing the spread of infection. But we'd be lying if we said we weren't ready for this phrase to become useless. With north of 50 nominations, many others clearly feel the same, and the tone of their reasoning ranged from impatient to heartfelt.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, some people do get annoyed when you tell them they have to social distance, which we're in a pandemic, like, just stay away from me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how else they would get their message across that we can't be close right now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it yesterday. Like I saw an email yesterday about, make sure you social distance yourselves. Like, I think the impatient to heartfelt I'm getting, because it's like, okay, like lady Karen, we've done this drill for how many months now? Like,
it is getting to a point where, like, yes, we have her for so many months and it's coming up on a year, but it is still important.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, at number 1 of the most banished of them all, words for 2020. Do you want to take a crack at it?
COVID.
It is COVID.
Nice.
Or coronavirus, the Rona, COVID-19. I think all of us would
the cocoa.
Extremely the cocoa.
The cocoa.
I forgot to add that. The cocoa.
So here's my thing.
Ready.
I think once we get to a point where maybe COVID is not a huge issue and, life starts getting a little normal, we're not going to hear it as often. I think, it might still be around, but maybe not as big as it is now. However, in 6 years, when kids start going to kindergarten, there's going to be kids named COVID, 1,000%. Because there's people out there that, if they had a baby in 2020, maybe they want a unique name. What's more unique than the pandemic he was born during? COVID. I think you could see a resurgence in like 5-6 years of COVID again.
I'd love to have Rona.
I don't know. I don't think I would name my child Rona.
You know what's surprising to me, Matt? As much as we'd like to joke around, I am a little surprised Corona, the beer, hasn't taken any hits as far as changing the brand. They did?
No, but they took a lot of sales hits.
Oh,
in like April.
Yeah, because everybody thought that coronavirus was in Corona. Like, how stupid idiots. Can you get? What are you guys, a bunch
bozos.
Of drunks? Like, what are you talking
legit,
about?
had too much Corona, had too much tequila.
One of those days on a beach.
Yes.
Corona.
I don't think Corona. I think in like a few years, people are going to be like, "Oh, drinking a Corona. Remember that crazy year?"
I hate to admit that, but back in March, we literally the last lunch that we actually all went out.
You made that sound like the Last Supper, the last lunch.
I wanted to say the Last Supper, but it wasn't supper; it was lunch. We were going out for a birthday party, and we all just decided to get Corona because we thought it was a joke, and that bit us in the ass pretty quickly.
A little bit. Corona's actually not bad, by the way.
I think it's fine.
I wouldn't drink it all the time. I can drink it once in a while. Mm-hmm. Did you have it with a lime?
Yes, I did have it with a lime.
It is better with a lime.
It is definitely better with a lime.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Jinx.
Whoa. Stop it.
I know, right?
See, again, that's just there you can say
I
it. I
said it on purpose.
I know.
We got Matt here, the English police, keeping me down here.
It's very sus. I'm not stopping saying sus.
I wouldn't either.
No.
I will never say pivot again.
I don't know if I've ever said pivot in a regular conversation in my life. So at some point, maybe I will.
Well, I've had to. So consider yourself lucky. Well, while we are still in this together, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Matt's got his sports segments. You don't want to miss it. Matt, I got to tell you, I am so happy we're continuing to make more episodes for our podcast.
You're so right, Mike. I really am enjoying hearing how awesome each episode is every week from everyone. It's so easy to do.
It is so easy. And we have Anchor, our sponsor for this episode, to thank for. Anchor is free to anyone that wants to start a podcast. It's easy for beginners with the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also helps distribute our podcasts so our listeners can tune in to their platform of choice, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more.
And Mike, I got to tell you, I was skeptical before, but we actually are making a profit off this podcast. We are still a small podcast, but it's nice to see the progress we have made with each episode with that money.
Yes, we are making it rain. Kind of. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm.
And who knows, you may start a podcast with your best friend.
That's right. Roommates for life.
Okay, let's pivot to the sports segments for today. Um, we are going to start with NFL playoffs. Mike, sit down because I have a lot to say.
I wish I could be a stand-up comedian, but I just like sitting
Okay,
down.
yeah, all right, this guy. Let's try, Tim. So yes, the NFL playoffs went on. The Nickelodeon game was hysterical. I tuned in for 2 minutes, and the guy explained what a coin toss was, and I was out. It was funny, don't get me wrong, but they were like explaining this like kids were watching it by themselves. It was all older guys that were like, "Oh, I wonder what this broadcast is," and it was the SpongeBob in the uprights was weird. You couldn't see the ball. They had like a slime zone in the end zone every time someone scored. I guess it was good. I mean, people like didn't hate it, but like, I guess it was for the kids.
I don't think they're gonna do another season if you ask me with Nickelodeon.
They might. I think they might. Who knows? But the reason we're talking about the NFL playoffs, Steelers lost, got shit pumped by the Browns. Where do you want me to get angry first, or do you want me to get sad first? What do you want? I'll let you pick.
Well, Matt, in terms of the NFL, what usually starts off with is a coin toss. One has heads, one has
Do you want me to get depressed first,
Oh my
or do you want me to get angry first? You know what? I'm just gonna get angry
All right,
first
Hulk,
because I'm
get
angry.
Why don't you?
All right. I have a lot of things I'm angry about.
Okay.
So originally I said I was going to say Mike Tomlin should be on the hot seat. However, he's never had a losing season. And last year was a crap show without Ben, and they finished 8-8. So Tomlin is to blame, but they should keep him. I have a huge problem with the wide receivers on this team. Juju Smith-Schuster on Thursday of last week said he's not worried about the Browns because, quote, the Browns is the Browns. Basically saying that they've been the team they have been for the past 20 years, and then they got murdered by the Browns. Then after the game, Chase Claypool's on his Instagram Live saying, yeah, we lost, but the Browns are going to get their ass kicked next week. Shut up and play the game. Like, we don't need all this extra noise to get the Browns all motivated. Like, just play the damn game. Do you have thoughts on them giving... They basically just gave the Browns bulletin board material thinking, yeah, we're that much better than you guys. And you were down 28-0 in the first quarter.
Go ahead, continue.
All right. Colin Cowherd. You, Colin Cowherd. So,
Okay,
I'm going to say something nice about Colin Cowherd for a second.
F-bomb at...
Yes. I'm going to say something nice about Colin Cowherd. He is correct when he said that the reason Big Ben plays the way he does now is because he did not take care of his body throughout his career. And now he's 38, going to be 39 in March. And he can't move because he didn't take care of his body. That's correct. Why I am mad at Colin Cowherd, he has a segment, Mike, on his show every Monday called Colin Was Right, Colin Was Wrong. So he'll go from something he was correct about, something he was wrong about. One of his Colin Was Rights this week was that he said he knew the Steelers were the team that they were. They weren't that good, and they weren't going to win the Super Bowl. He picked them to win that game. He picked them to beat the Browns. Not only did he pick them to beat them, he picked them to cover, which means they were 6 points favorites. So he said they were going to beat them by a touchdown. And then you put them in your Colin Was Right after they lost. That stop. You can't spin everything to make it like you're the best. You were wrong. Own up to it. I think that's all the mad I'm going to get. So if you want to respond to any of that before I get depressed.
I don't like the fact that he did that, Colin Cowherd. Like, it's kind of like saying, oh, well, the Golden State... hate to bring up basketball again, because I brought this up at work today when we were talking about it. And I said, they're like, well, I can't believe, I'm sure the depressed will come in with the record that they had in the regular season. Like, you can't go 10, well, it was 10-0 to start.
11-0.
11-0. You can't go 11-0 and not win to get to the Super Bowl. Well, I said my response is you can't be the Golden State Warriors with the best record in the NBA history going over the Chicago Bulls of the Michael Jordan era and then lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers in one of the worst comebacks, not for Cleveland, but for Golden State, in losing a 3-0 lead.
That's fair. You know, if he would have said, oh, well, the Warriors aren't going to win the championship. No. What take would that be for him? I'm trying to think. Basically, like saying that he knew the Warriors weren't good, predicting them to win the finals, and they were lost.
Right.
Just own up to the fact that you were wrong. Why I'm depressed. I think this is the end for Big Ben.
I know.
Which makes me sad. Did you see him crying on the sidelines? That I legit teared up. I listen. Ben Roethlisberger.
He's our childhood, man.
Morals questionable. However, as a Pittsburgh Steeler, as a quarterback, we haven't known football without Ben Roethlisberger ever. Like it's gonna be sad watching him or watching the Steelers without him. And there's rumors he might want to come back, but like I don't think I even want him back. And it sucks because like I don't want him back, but like this is gonna be our last memory of him. It's just like an awful performance in the playoffs.
I forget who it was, man. I saw TikTok. I think it was one of one of the receivers or one of the defensive linemen.
I think I know what you're talking about. It was the Pouncey, the old lineman.
Yeah, comes up and he's like, dude, he's like, I wanted to do this for you, man. Like, nothing else. Like, I just wanted to do it for you. And I'm like, oh, man, who's cutting onions? Like, like to play for somebody like Ben Roethlisberger. Like, even looking at it too, I don't know that Pouncer, is that his name?
Pouncey.
Pouncey. The kid probably grew up watching Big Ben to begin with. And even to the point where he was fully invested in football and now playing for the guy and then possibly playing a last game ever with him. Like, it's like the seniors for every sports that you used to play with. Like, you hated the last game because it was the most emotional for the seniors. But, yeah.
It sucked. Like, that close-up, they should not have allowed that close-up of him crying on the sideline. That broke my heart. I really don't want him back because, like, he just can't move. And, like, in today's NFL, you need a quarterback that can move. Like, that I don't even think this loss was his fault. Like, the play calling, I said play calling sucked all year. But the point is, when you have bad play calling, you can make up for it when you have a mobile quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's not mobile. I'm also a little sad because I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster's coming back. And I know he's a Pittsburgh favorite. He's a free agent, and I don't see them paying him. So, not good vibes. Twitter was tough on Sunday night and Monday, and it was tough today. Screw Twitter.
Getting in that Corvette.
Yeah, we don't. He cursed the Steelers, by the way. He danced on the logo in the locker room, which you're not supposed to do, and he posted on TikTok. Listen, I'm not wrecking the guy for making TikToks because I know he got a lot of shit for it during the year. However, you can't do it on the opponent's 50-yard line on the logo. That's disrespectful. Let's stay a little bit depressed. Maybe a little bit depressed. A more serious conversation, but about the NBA. So, Mike, the G League. The G League is back. Yes. The G League, it's pretty much, for those who don't know what the G League is, it's like the minor league system for the NBA. But like teams own certain players on different teams. It gets complicated.
Yes.
They did not finish their season last year, but they are back in the Orlando bubble. So the G League is only, I don't remember how many teams there are. Mike, did you know that there's a lot of former professional basketball players in the G League this season?
I didn't know specifically who, but I'm not surprised.
So the four most popular ones, I believe, Michael Beasley.
Oh, wow.
Apparently he's still trying to play. Yeah. You're going to love this one. Lance Stephenson's in the G League.
It's funny. I watched highlights of one of the Cavs game. I'm like, where's Lance Stephenson? And
yeah.
Dang.
Crazy. Jeremy Lin. Linsanity is back.
Linsanity's a little limp.
Yeah, and the other guy's Nick Stauskas, who was a better college player than NFL or NBA player. So why I'm a little sad by this? The NBA is having a lot of COVID issues. For example, it's just their thinking is not perfect, I don't think, in this scenario. So the Wizards had a positive test. Washington Wizards had a positive test, I think, Saturday. So then their game, they played the Bulls, they played the Heat, and then the Heat's next game got postponed. But then last night, the Wizards just played the Suns after some of their guys only had to skip one game. And then this morning, they had to cancel practice because two guys tested positive. How are we going to have the G League in a bubble? But you can tell the NBA players, the on actual NBA teams that they have to travel the country and risk spreading the virus, and they're more restricted and they can't go out and see their family. Like Kyrie Irving was with a birthday party for his dad and he wasn't wearing a mask, and now the NBA is looking into him having to sit out like 2 weeks. So how do you tell the G League you have to have a bubble, but the regular players don't?
I think I said it a long time ago. We need a fight island. Like we need a place where everyone can just come together and play. And just look at your show notes. I think this would possibly be a really good example of what would be a good expansion. But having very close arenas that all they need is a bus travel. That's all they need. And could you spare hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in moving those around? I definitely think it's possible. But you're already causing a chance in flying, because flying is, flying was one of those things that was automatically crushed when COVID first started. But now you're risking the players and getting up, unless you want to spend millions of dollars on private jets and whatnot. And even that's probably safety protocol too, considering, things. But yeah, I really feel like it should be flip-flopped. If I'm being 100% honest, I respect everybody as human beings, but really people are watching the NBA instead of the G League.
Yeah. I would be okay if they did like a Western Conference bubble and an Eastern Conference bubble. And then when it comes time to the playoffs in a few months, combine them and just top 16 teams.
Because they already play Eastern Conference. Like, yeah, you already
They're
play
traveling
Eastern
all
Conference.
across the country.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. I saw people throwing this idea around that they should stop the season and get them all vaccinated. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a very much so herd immunity detail. Like, we've been hearing this word herd immunity, which means like everybody's vaccinated enough where nobody can get infected because so many people got vaccinated. I don't know. You're more running a risk of a possibility of someone being a carrier than of traveling. And then if they already have COVID, they're not getting infected, but they may be carrying it somewhere else. And they may say, oh, I'm vaccinated. I can do whatever I want. I'm asymptomatic. And yeah, I know how I feel about that. I'm a little hesitant on that.
So I'm all for them getting the vaccine. I'm just not for them cutting the line. Like I've seen people say they should cut the line to get the vaccine. I'm not down with that. However, once it becomes like ready, available to like the general public and the essential people get it, the people that need it, then I'm all for if they want to get these players vaccinated. Because if the idea, and this is just me being stupid, I don't know if this is true. If the idea of the vaccine is to show people that they're not sick and they can start doing their regular lives again, what's better than to have the NBA and the NHL getting vaccinated, showing they're not getting sick and they're able to travel and do their jobs professionally? Then it would show people that the vaccine works, and then more people will want to get the vaccine. So I'm all for that. I just don't like people are saying, oh, they should get the vaccine now. No, because there's still essential people that need it. Yeah, sports are not essential.
We all know Adam Silver is making his campaign for 2024, so
maybe he is. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I think the NBA should be in a bubble rather than the G League.
Now, the MLB, Rob Manfred today said that they are expecting to show up for spring training. They are expected to play a 162-game season, and they're going to let fans in. So we'll see how that goes. Baseball stadiums are big enough that, they're letting fans in football games. I think they could get away with a little bit. Other NBA news we had this week. So there's rumors that the league wants to expand. So they have not had expansion for quite a few years now, and they're looking to add 2 teams. So I thought we could just throw some city names out there. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. We need the Seattle Supersonics back.
Yes. They were going to say Scranton.
No. If they choose 2 teams, not Seattle, or 2 cities that one of them is not Seattle, this was a failure. We need the Supersonics back. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree with you.
Do you have any cities off the top of your head you think could use a franchise?
I wouldn't mind Pittsburgh. As a weird no, you're saying no. Why not?
I don't think the city of Pittsburgh would support a basketball team. I don't think I don't think that would work. And there's people from Pittsburgh that saying, they're a football town, they're a hockey town, they're like, is blue collar? Is that the right word I'm looking for? Like blue collar, steel city, hard city. I don't think they would support a basketball team.
Interesting.
I've seen that city thrown out there. I think that would be a failure. That's the one city that like I wouldn't go to.
Is there anything up in Maine?
I don't know if there's people that live in Maine.
Let's do Rhode Island. How about that? We're not even calling it
Rhode
city.
Island.
Let's just
No, right
Rhode
next
Island.
to Canada.
I wouldn't mind seeing another Canadian team come into play.
Vancouver.
Vancouver
had a team before Memphis. I think an obvious choice would be Vegas.
That'd be fun.
You could put your own like sports book in the arena, which would be interesting. I also think Kansas City would be pretty good.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Is there Nashville is one?
See, I thought Nashville because like they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you do have one in Memphis. I don't know how close Nashville and Memphis are to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a neighboring state, Louisville. Big basketball state in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Mostly for college, but
still good.
Louisville would be pretty decent. And then maybe Tampa Bay because that's where the Raptors are playing this year. I just don't know if they're going to put another franchise in Florida because they usually don't get a lot of attendance. Unless you're the Miami Heat.
You know what would be really cool? And I'm probably going to sound stupid saying this, but adding a South Carolina team. And then like
Myrtle Beach.
Battle of the Carolinas. Like Charlotte Hornets versus Myrtle Beach
I like
Turtles.
that. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm thinking of just, I went with Pittsburgh because everybody always says, oh, like you're in the wrong Pennsylvania team and for football or hockey, mind you. Meanwhile, Matt flip-flops over there with his Flyers, Flyers and Steelers.
Whatever.
But like having those rivalries that people talk about rivalries all the time, no matter if it's, football, soccer, baseball, the Subway Series, the Mets and Yankees, like there's always some competition behind it because it's just based on the location. And is Nevada? I'm trying to think.
That's Vegas.
That's Vegas. My vibe.
Yeah.
Like Vegas versus LA. Like having those flip flop itself too. But yeah, I think definitely a South Carolina team would be pretty cool for the.
I think Charleston, South Carolina would probably be better than Myrtle Beach because Myrtle Beach I feel like is more touristy. But I think a professional team in Charleston would be awesome. One more quick topic. We have NBA season currently going on, and it's been an interesting season. So, Mike, what we're going to do is we're going to play a quick game. It's called Fact or Cap. So, I have, how many questions do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 8 questions for you, and you are going to determine if these statistics are a fact or a cap. So, let's start. The worst team in the NBA has the player with the highest points per game. Fact or cap?
So what's cap? Is that not good?
Yeah, it's like cap. Like that's false.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like no cap.
It's the new young.
No cap.
The new young.
Wow.
Slang.
Let me go grab my cheaters for a hot second.
Hey, I'm just here to help you help you out.
So the worst NBA team has the best player in the game.
No, worst NBA team has the player with the highest points per game.
That
Fact or cap?
Fact.
That is correct. Any guesses?
Steph Curry.
No, the Warriors are actually their record's a little decent. Bradley Beal.
Oh,
with the Wizards, averaging 35 points a game.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, I saw he's having a really good season. They
for him.
kicked the crap out of the Suns the other day, which sucked. But yeah, good for him. Next one. Damien Lillard is averaging more points than CJ McCollum. Fact or cap?
Go with cap.
That is correct. That is cap.
Let's go.
Lillard, who was my dark horse MVP, averaging 26.1 a game. McCollum, 28.1 a game. Next one. This is about the clutch. If this player has clutch gene. Luka Doncic is scoring the most points per game in the clutch. So the clutch is like, I think it's like the fourth quarter when it's a certain amount of points. Fact or cap?
Cap. Final answer.
It is fact.
Oh.
He's averaging 10 points per game in the clutch. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
We'll get back to Luka in a little bit. Next one. Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets center, is averaging a triple-double. Fact or cap?
Cap. Final answer.
It is fact. 24 points a game and 11 rebounds, 11 assists. They kind of stink, but yeah, he's balling like an MVP.
That's a good center for getting assists through that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, his numbers are even better than Embiid, and the Sixers have been pretty good. Next one, LeBron James.
LeBron James
is averaging more steals than turnovers. Fact or cap?
I want to say cap, final answer.
That is cap. 3.5 turnovers a game and less than 1 steal a game.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, the steals part seems a little low, but like 3 turnovers a game isn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, and also, too, he's grabbing the ball the most. Like, he's getting the most touches on the ball, so...
He's basically the point guard.
Right.
Back to Luka. Luka Doncic is shooting less than 25% from 3. Fact or cap?
Fact, final answer?
Yes, 22.8% from 3. This is... I'm taking Luka out of my top 5. He can't shoot. If you watch his games, he just does crafty stuff to get fouled and makes layups. That's all he does to score. It pisses me off. And he gets every call like he's a superstar. They need to stop that. 2 more. John Wall is averaging more turnovers than James Harden. Fact or cap?
Fact, final answer.
It is cap.
Ooh.
So Wall is at 3.5 turnovers. Harden's at 4.5. And then
James Olive
Harden.
Oh, Harden.
The final one, the Celtics have 8 players averaging 10 plus points per game. Fact or cap?
Fact, final answer.
It's cap. They only have 3.
Ooh.
They have 3. So Jason Tatum's at 27 a game. Jaylen Brown's at 26 a game, which is just crazy. And then they have Marcus Smart at 12 a game. So that is factor cap for the NBA season so far. That concludes the sports segments for today. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for a brand new segment, Buy or Sell. So how buy or sell is going to work, this isn't a financial segment. We're not going to be like, it's a good market to sell your house, so sell your house. It's more so going to be like something's hot, something's not. Well, never mind on that. We have a new segment coming out soon called Hot or Not. But this is something that is, if it's in a positive light, we're going to be buying it. Maybe if something's negative, we're going to sell it. So Mike, I will go first. I'll do all of mine. So to start off this segment, I am buying cuddling.
Oh, yeah.
I'm buying cuddling.
Good. Yeah.
Because, I don't know if you saw this, Mountain Dew is releasing a throw pillow in the shape of a Mountain Dew bottle and a Mountain Dew can for people to cuddle.
Is it like large?
Yeah, no, it's like a large pillow.
Like a body pillow?
That looks like, like a body pillow that looks like a Mountain Dew bottle and can.
Wow.
What do you think the age demographic is of this? I'm thinking like 14 to 17 PC players who drink nothing but Monster and Mountain Dew.
I know some people that are above age of 40 that drinks still Mountain Dew. So
I mean, listen, I like Mountain Dew too. Not enough to buy a body pillow to cuddle it. I'm not that lonely. I like they can't. Who would buy this? Like, who's gonna cuddle up to a pillow of Mountain Dew?
I think it'd be a nice gag gift if you ask me.
Oh, it's a perfect gag gift. Unless, like you said, you're someone that drinks Mountain Dew all day. Maybe you love Mountain Dew. I have 2 things I'm selling. I am selling 2021.
Already?
I'm selling it. So,
you already want the receipt? You have the receipt?
Yeah, we're on to 2022. So there was the Capitol debacle last week. Last week, Tommy Lasorda passed away. You know who Tommy Lasorda is?
Yes.
So for those who don't, Tommy Lasorda was a longtime Hall of Fame manager for the Dodgers. An awesome guy. One of the best ambassadors baseball had. Fun story. My mom has a picture of her with Tommy Lasorda.
Boy, she's been the Live Aid. She's got a picture. What else has your mom done?
So her and my dad were on vacation in spring training in Florida when she was pregnant with my brother Steven. Tommy Lasorda walks out of the stadium, and they were pretty far, where like people started flocking to him for pictures. And my dad, being funny, I was like, "Hey Tommy, how's the Slim Fast going?" And he turned around, he's like, "Who the hell was that?" Because Tommy Lasorda just beat the crap out of people. So he didn't know it was my dad. But then he was taking photos with some kids, and he goes to walk away, and my dad's like, "Hey Tommy, how about one with my wife?" And he's like, No, only with the kids, only with the kids. He's like, "But she's pregnant with my firstborn son." He was like, "All right, bring her over." So she got a picture of Tommy Lasorda.
That's cool.
One of the best guys ever. Also, why I'm selling 2020, Navy So a lot of schools have like live mascots. Navy had a mascot. Let me pull up the tweet quick.
Navy, like
The Naval Academy.
okay.
Their retired mascot, Bill 33, passed away last week. Yes. So he was with the team for about, I think, let's see. He was a Navy mascot for like 5 years. It's always sad when live mascots pass away, or like famous animals pass away. That's always sad. So we're on to 2022. I'm also selling love. I'm
So you
selling love.
Buy cuddling, but you sell love.
Correct.
So you're just gonna cuddle with benefits.
No. No. So I'm selling love. Kim Ye. Reportedly getting a divorce. And love is dead. Love is dead. I did not realize. Did you realize they had 4 kids together?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought they only had North.
I'm guilty of watching when Kanye released his gospel album that he actually performed at one of those big, like, very much so fortunate churches,
Yes.
service, congregational halls. And I saw literally all the 4 kids, like, and there was Kim Kardashian sitting in the front row, and
I think if I have the names right, it's North, Chicago, Psalm, and I'm blanking on the last one. But anyway, I didn't realize I had 4 kids. Can you imagine the ratings for this coming season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
I was like, I don't keep up with them anyway.
It's gonna be through the roof.
It's gonna be good.
But how can we trust love now if they can't make it?
Do you really think that was love to begin with?
Yes, they had 4 kids together. I think they loved each other.
Okay.
There's some I don't really get deep into celebrity couples. There are some that this is one of them. That when they break up, it's sad. Chrissy Teigen, John Legend. That would be sad.
Oh, I was like, what?
Would be sad.
Matt, I swear to God, next week.
No, listen, I'm not trying to break fake news here. No. D Wade, Gabrielle Union. That would suck. Kim Kardashian, Kanye West. This sucks.
Yeah. Because it's people know. Like, and it's beyond, was another one, Beyonce and T-Pain.
Beyonce, Jay-Z.
T-Pain.
That would suck too. And also, Kim Ye is just an awesome couple's nickname. I'm not really big into couples' nicknames, but like Kim Ye is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Especially like everyone's like talking about it now and like just let them be.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt. Well, kind of did my inventory searching, did the Amazon search, checked out on my cart or whatever online shopping that I'm doing. What I would like to buy, because I feel like we did not discuss this enough and it shows up a lot. I would definitely like to buy the Barstool Fund. So what is happening? Dave Portnoy, who is the CEO, founder, El Presidente of Barstool Sports, got put where money where his mouth was. And people called him out and said, hey, like, why aren't you supporting small businesses? Dave does pizza reviews. And they've all, and I did a quick check before I announced it. And let me do a refresh because it's probably still going. They have raised so far at the time of this recording, $22,715,044. And that's just on donations alone. And what Dave has been doing is he's been supporting small businesses that more or less submit videos talking about the hardships. We've gotten a local one from my area, gets supported by the Barstool Fund, which I think is freaking neat. They deserve it in every shape and way. And it's just sad that a person who talks about sports babes and stuff like that is doing more than our government is supporting small businesses.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome to see. Like, there's been so many celebrities that have been kicking in. He did an Instagram live a couple days ago with Aaron Rodgers, who donated like a lot of money to the fund. And yeah, he's taking the forefront. Like, he's being the leader of saying, hey, these businesses need help if they're not going to have the business that they expect. And it's been awesome to see people support him because a lot of times Barstool and Dave Portnoy, they get dragged in the mud by a few media companies.
Or the NFL.
Or the NFL, yeah. And it's just been awesome to see them step up and come in this time of need.
Mm-hmm. I think this is really a bright spot into 2020 and having that opportunity for anybody who needs that help. So I hate to pull a plug, but if you're willing to donate, you just search the Barstool Fund. It's the Barstool Sports link. There's a direct donation link there. And if you really want a warm, kind feeling in your heart, look up Barstool Sports with Dave Portnoy or Dave Portnoy. He's been uploading videos of the phone calls, getting the reactions.
Some of those videos make me cry. Not like tear up.
Yeah.
Like some of the reactions, like you can actually tell the people like need help and like they're struggling for their business. And then here comes Dave and Barstool to the rescue. It's been awesome.
I think it was one manager got a phone call and literally said, "Dave, you saved this business." And because I think at one point the manager was paying out of pocket to pay for his servers. And he's like, "You saved this business. And if it wasn't for you, we would probably not exist anymore." So I love it. I love what they're doing. And if you get a chance, make sure you do takeout or delivery for a small business because it means so much to them more than going to a chain restaurant, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need our help now more than ever.
Mm-hmm. All right, time to sell. Freaking A. Being put on hold for a phone call customer freaking service.
I kind of figured this was going to show up at one point.
Oh, it happened to me today, Matt. So I'm just going to say it out loud. Our state's Department of Revenue is a shit show to begin with. I guess so. Whatever. I'll get into it. Who cares? People know the celebrity in us is not that high yet. I can get this personal. So my personal income tax was paid back in June. They charged me again for yet another personal income tax, and they added a late fee to it. So I decided to pay that one because I think my mom paid the other one, but I decided to pay this one because I was like, hey, like, all right, fine. I don't want a late fee attached to it. I want to pay my bills. My mom's like, we already sent in a check back in June. So I was like, okay, I'll call them. I tried calling last Wednesday, and I was on the phone for about 45 minutes. I saw an option if you wanted to schedule a call, press 1. So I pressed 1. The latest, that was Wednesday. The latest availability was next Tuesday. Time of this recording today at 11:15. I called 11:15. I didn't get any different than the sweet, sweet music that plays until 1:45. A 2.5 hour phone call ends up being the call failed.
No.
So I called again. Got through the same process. I was on the phone for yet another hour and a half.
Oh.
I did not get, I told Mom, I always text him. I said, you know what? I said, this is not worth it anymore. I said, I could imagine if it was $1,000, I'd be fine with it. But for $32, I'm like, this is not worth it for me being on the phone. So I tweeted at them because, that's the typical millennial is tweeting at a brand. Yeah, I am not happy, and I can understand why our governor wants to do Restore Pennsylvania because our communication is shit.
Being on hold for 20 minutes sucks, let alone 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jenna can say, I have the patience of a saint, but I do not have the freaking patience of more than 4 hours of me being on the freaking phone. Also, tried scheduling an appointment online. Listen, Department PA of Revenue, if you're listening to this podcast, your website sucks. I know so many other websites that does a better job in scheduling phone calls. Because listen, I literally tried looking up. I put in my name. I put in my phone number. When I'd like to be called, I got to the point I could not load the shit of the calendar. Calendar wouldn't load. I tried refreshing 6 times, did the same process over and over again. Still wasn't showing a time available to call.
That's tough, man. I'm sorry for you. That is like, that sounds like the worst day ever. Like, in all seriousness, like that's bad.
And I hate to be this person, but I saw who is the director of communications for the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue. I was almost going to follow them and tweet at them.
I wouldn't blame you if you did. I wouldn't blame you if you did. After an hour, I would have been like driving up there. As somebody
who handles a quote commonwealth, as someone who handles a database of people that is more than 100 people, if you have this type of communication to your people, you are not doing a service to them, and I'm sorry, you're not serving your people.
Yeah, I mean that's just all. Also, the music just doesn't help. The music makes you more mad.
So, what's funny was the one the scheduled call had this type of music, But then when you called in, it had a different type of music.
Oh no.
The one where you call in was much more painful than the actual scheduled one. The scheduled one sounded more soothing. The other one sounded 8-bit or 16-bit to me. Those like old video game sounds that they used to do. It sounded like that. Is like, I turned my volume. I actually used my work phone. I turned my volume all the way down. I was like, yeah, this is not what I'm going to be. And I tried multitasking, but then of course, like you hear like the little stutter of like the automated voice messaging system. And it's like, oh crap,
worst.
like it's somebody. And they're like, nope, thank you for holding. You better thank me. You better more than just thank me for.
Listen, that is the worst. I don't know whose idea was to put one, elevator music on your wait when you're on hold, and two, like you said, that person just cuts in every 20 seconds. Thank you for holding. You're the next. I'm obviously not the next caller because I've been on hold for 2.5 hours.
Also, too, the timing. I was in the queue at 65. I was in the queue, so meaning I was 65th person in line for the call.
Gotcha.
Total wait time was 30 minutes. Cycle through messages. Wait time, 30 minutes. Your call queue, 66. How the hell did I jump from 65 to 66 in the call queue when I already called in to queue in?
Sounds like they have it out for you.
Oh, I bet they do.
You must have pissed off your FBI agent somehow.
Yeah, listen, more personal things. I haven't gotten my tax return yet. I haven't gotten my 2 stimulus checks.
And they're already talking about a third. What a day you had. That's also just incredible to have in the middle of a workday.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, again, that's the only time you could frickin' call them because they don't operate after business hours. So you have to call during business hours.
Send them a strongly worded letter. That'll show them.
Yeah. Yeah, because the U.S. Postal Service is already going down the shithole anyway. That's another thing I want to sell, too. How awful they've been treating their employees. That's another story for another day.
Okay. That'll be for next time we do it.
I don't think it's going to be another story because that's too personal.
Okay. That works too. Wow.
So PA, do better.
See, we hit like every emotion on this podcast. We laughed, we yelled, we cussed. I got depressed about Ben Roethlisberger. God knows what people are feeling about those first topics we talked about.
Maybe just, aroused? Is aroused
maybe.
One?
I was, yeah, that's a better word than what I was going to say. Just an all around, we hit it. We hit everything you could possibly want in a podcast.
Well, there's probably plenty more where that came from, Matt. That concludes episode 39. If you haven't heard already, we did a switch in the episode numberings to make it easier for people and for a better listening experience, of course. So we are now at episode 39. I think it's great, Matt. We're going to count to 100, and we're so excited for that.
No, I can't wait for episode 40, and God knows what we're going to have planned for episode 100.
Oh, man. Dude, it's going to be great. It's going to be tremendous, magnificent. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
More Witch of the likes you've never seen before.
Yes.
Anyway, if you're looking to connect with us on social media, the best link to go to is solo.to/funnybusiness. There you'll be able to find our brand new TikTok that was started. We are up and running with the TikTok, the Tic-Tac, or the Talk-Tick, as some people would put it. We are almost about getting higher than my dad on his own TikTok. There's a total lie. However, got to fake it till you make it. One day. Make sure you watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/funnybusinessen. We've been starting to stream consistently every Tuesday, Thursday. Matt takes the wheel every Tuesday. I take the wheel every Thursday for some fun, and we may sprinkle in some Salt Bay. We may Salt Bay some in of other things.
Whenever we feel. Sometimes we just want to play games and just not stream. But, maybe once in a while we'll throw in an extra one. Couple days.
Matt, anything fun coming up for you? Or
No. Not that I can think of. Went a haircut this week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm trying a new barber too. So hopefully he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? It is now, at the time of this recording, it is January 12th. And we got a lot of 2021 left to go.
Yeah. Hopefully, last year, the first couple of days of 2020 weren't great. So hopefully we're not on that same path.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave a rating if you are on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you share this with a friend. Be sure to tell somebody that you love them. And until next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone.